Hello and welcome back to the IWIN series, episode 7, 8, 9. I've lost count. This is my third or fourth recording that I'm doing in one go. And what I wanted to do for this episode is a little bit different. I wanted to just sit back and give a bit of reflection on my life at the moment and how I'm feeling about things. So, for context, my life is my business. And I am fully absorbed by that and by choice as well. This is one of the things that people sometimes are skeptical about when it comes to the way that I structure my time and the way that I work. I help a lot of entrepreneurs with time freedom, right? And what I mean by time freedom is I help them to set better boundaries in place. I help them to make more time for their friends and family, help them to make more time for their hobbies, help them to switch off from the work that they do. And sometimes people will look at me and the life that I live and they question, oh, can I actually help them with that? And the reason why is because I literally, like I said, I'm fully absorbed by my business. I am absorbed by my business by choice. And I think that people sometimes don't really get that. And what I mean by this is that I want to make my business my sole priority. I want to sacrifice everything else to get my business to grow quicker than it would if I didn't. This is my primary focus. Like I care about this more than anything else right now. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. And if people are at that position, like I've said this before as well, like I'm happy to sacrifice my sleep. I'm happy to sacrifice my health to some degree. I'm happy to sacrifice friendships, time with family. I don't care. And the reason why I don't care is because I know long term this is what's best for everyone else around me. And whether or not they see that, I know that. Like I know that this is the best thing for me to do with my time. I know that. So some people might know the trait conscientiousness. I'm a very conscientious person. If I know I'm doing something wrong, it tears me apart inside. Like I've stole like once or twice, and I still think about that stuff. Like I was in primary school, right? I stole like some Yu-Gi-Oh cards of someone, and I probably stole like some sweets of someone else, right? But like even that, like it sticks with me because when I'm doing something that I don't actually believe is right, it really like it strikes me to my core. And if I wasn't willing to sacrifice my health, my sleep, and everything else that I do, that would also strike me to my core because I actually don't believe that that's right for me. Like, I don't think that I should be living a balanced lifestyle right now. I don't think that I should be in a position where I'm taking weekends off and like chilling on the evenings and like doing all that stuff. No, like, firstly, I'm a leader, right? I've got Adnan who's looking up to me to be like, okay, all things getting done, is the business moving forward. I've got other people in my team that I want to take care of. Like, I want to make sure that they're good and I'm providing as much support for them as possible. Same way that I'm doing with Adnan. The same way that I want to do with my future family. Like my current family. I want to actually be able to set up my life in a way where I am providing as much as possible. And for me to do that, who cares if I want to break, right? Like, who cares if I want to have a weekend off? Who cares if I'm not meeting up with my friends? Who cares if I don't have much, like if I'm not taking much income out of the business myself? Like, none of that stuff matters, right? Like, I'm trying to become someone. I'm trying to be like move towards a position. All these little just little things, like just so meaningless to me. I don't get to watch a TV show. Like, I kid you not, like I haven't watched a new TV show in the past year, okay? And not once have I ever sat there and be like, oh, like, I really want to watch a TV. Bro, like, get out. Like, I literally don't care about that stuff. It's so far gone in my mind. And I think that what people don't get, I think the only person that could potentially back this up is, like, I work very hard in my opinion. There's only one other person that I think that I know that works similar amount and similar difficulty as me. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because firstly, talking about it reiterates why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when I have that why, like, it gives me strength. It gives me more motivation, more desire to keep pushing with what I'm doing. The other reason why I like talking about this is because I hope that people don't get the impression that I'm all about balance and like making sure that everything is fine and dandy. Like, no, I literally, I'm about goals. I want to achieve this thing. How the hell do I get there? Okay. And the people that I help, for example, like if I'm helping an entrepreneur that's a parent and he wants to spend more time with his kids, I'm not sitting there saying like, no, you got to work hard. You got to like sacrifice that time, like whatever. I don't care. Like, I'm not in any position to tell you to like how you should be spending your time, right? People come to me and they say like, oh, I want to spend my time in this way. Like, I want to spend more time with my kid. I'm like, great. Like, let me help you out with that. Okay. Like, let's set a goal. Let's set some boundaries. Let's figure out what that would look like. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to live the same lifestyle as them, but it does mean that sometimes people look at me and they think, oh, well, your time, like the way that you work doesn't align with what you're teaching me. But the thing that I want to get across is that the way that I spend my time is out of choice. I could choose to take the weekends off if I wanted to. It wouldn't really affect the business that much. Would it affect me mentally? Yes. Do I think it's bad that it affects me mentally? No. And a lot of people will disagree and they'll say, no, it's actually really bad. You can't switch off. You can't do this. You can't do that. No, like, I actually love what I'm doing. I'm on a mission. Like, I'm actually moving towards something that I think is so important. Like, why would I want to do something else? Like, I don't want to sacrifice what I'm doing. I don't want to sacrifice my time on this. I don't think that anything else is even remotely as important as this. I think that what I'm doing can change hundreds of thousands of people's lives in the future. Why on earth would I be sitting there thinking, oh, I want to go chill with my friends, or like, I need to make sure I'm hitting X amount of gym workouts this week? No, like, just get the things sorted that need to be sorted. Like, focus on this. Like, this in my eyes, like, it gives my life meaning. It gives me a sense of joy. And if that means sacrificing some other things, like, in reality, the way that I think about it is that we're all going to die, right? As I get old, my health is going to deteriorate anyways. So if you think about it, everyone's health is currently deteriorating because you're getting closer and closer to the time where your body will expire. If that's the case, how are you using your time is much more important than how much time you have. How I'm using my time is better, in my opinion, is more valuable and more fulfilling than 99.9% of people that I see around me. I don't really know anyone that like goes to bed at night and be like, mate, because this is like when I go to bed at night, I would say 70 to 80% of the time I go to bed and I'd be like, mate, you worked hard tonight. Like, you worked hard today. You did a lot. You put in a lot of work. And I feel like that to me is like a sense of like, you're doing the things that you should be doing in life. And like, it goes back to that conscientious statement. I'm very conscientious. I really feel the need to do the things that I should do. Now, don't get me wrong. I get told to do all sorts of things that I don't do. But it's not because I don't want to do them. It's because it doesn't align with what I actually value. So I just focus on the things that I value the most. I focus on the things that I think other people can't do or don't do or don't want to sacrifice for. And I go and I take that step. Just to give some context as well, like, I've been doing business for I don't know how long now. I think I've been in this kind of world for like 3-4 years maybe. And now my brother is thinking about kind of like stepping into this kind of space as well and getting involved with some stuff like this. Now, I'm thankfully in a position where if he's struggling with like setting up a business, if he's struggling with contacts, if he's struggling with leads, I can give him so much advice and I can actually help him out with that. Like, and that to me, in my eyes, is like, wow, like the stuff that I'm doing is worth it because I know like these things are worthwhile. You know what I mean? Like, I know that I can help other people because of the work that I've put in. If someone asks for my help, This is actually it, right? This is where my meaning comes from. When someone asks for my help, my ability to help them is a really strong indication of my self-worth. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like that. And I know that they're not going to think that that's a good thing. Because like, oh, your self-worth is based on other people. No, my self-worth is based on how valuable I am to others, to society, but not their perception of how valuable I am. My perception of how valuable I am. Like, if someone says to me like, oh, I need help with my business, and I know I could really help them, but they don't think that I'm that good, or they don't really like my service, or they don't think that I'm communicating things in the best way, but I know that I'm doing a great job. That's great. Like, I'm happy with that. I don't care about how they perceive me. I care about how I perceive me. If someone turns around and says like, hey, I need some help, can you like lend me some money? And I'll lend them £500, and they're like, oh, I need 1,000. I'm like, yeah, but I'm happy with the fact that like £500, the fact that I can lend you that, like my perception of like being able to lend family or friends like a bit of money, that in my perception is actually like, yeah, okay, you're doing enough, right? And I think that my perception of my self-worth comes from how much I'm impacting other people's lives. That's why I want to grow GTM Academy. That's why I do the content on TikTok. That's why I'm very diligent in the work that I do. Like I don't have a lot of attention to detail, but the volume of work that I do for clients, for my own business, to support my team, like I really try to do a lot for them whenever I can. And if I didn't, I'd feel like rubbish. I'd really feel terrible about that. Now, am I a good person? Or am I just trying to avoid feeling like a terrible person? Who knows? That's a deep philosophical question that I don't know the answer to. But what I do know is that if I didn't have this conscientiousness, I wouldn't have the drive to try and do good things. If I didn't have this drive to do good things, I'd probably feel like rubbish all day because I wouldn't be doing anything that I think is valuable. And I'd have no... I think it's just a miserable life, to be honest. Like, not having something that you're comparing yourself to. I think this is why I love religion, or particularly love my religion, is that it gives me... My religion gives me a guide of perfect. It's like, okay, if you're perfect, this is who you would be. This is the lifestyle you live. This is the type of interactions you'd have with other people. And that kind of ideal helps a lot because it reminds me of how much I can improve. It tells me how imperfect I currently am. It tells me how much better I could be. It tells me how much I need to humble myself and say, hey, look, you're far from the best you possibly could be. You're far from being the guy that would be able to help more people. You're far from the mindset, the ego, the attitude that you should have. So move towards it actively. And again, it has in conscientiousness. I feel like really good religious people, they're all really conscientious. They all feel terrible when they do something wrong. And the thing about business is that if I don't work, right, I feel terrible about that. I should work. I should do things. Jordan Peterson talked about this. He's like, some people are just so conscientious. Like, if you left them in the middle of the forest with an axe, all they do all day is just chop down trees. And like, I see myself as that guy. Like, all I do is just work. I like being that guy. I think it's good. I think more people should try to be this guy. I go to bed at night much more content than most people because I earn my worth as an individual because of the things that I do. And sometimes I don't. And those days that I don't, and those days that I procrastinate, those days that I don't get as much done, those days that, I know I'm letting myself down or I'm getting distracted, those days I feel terrible. And that really gives me a good sense of right and wrong in life. So I guess if I'm going to conclude this with a lesson, the main thing that I'd encourage people is figure out what you think is right and wrong. And don't be led astray by a lot of the media. Don't be led astray by social norms. Try and figure out what is actually deeply, deeply right in your heart. And use that as your moral compass and bring that out more within your life. The more present your moral compass is within your life, the more driven you'll be, the more conscientious you'll be, the easier you'll find it to look at yourself in the mirror, because you can actually say I know who I am. And even if you're doing things wrong, even if you realize okay, I'm someone that does a lot of things badly, at least you know what you should be doing. You know what I mean? Some people are just lost. And if you're lost, there's a quote, all people that are lost on something it's a Star Wars quote, right? Everyone that wanders is not lost. I think that's the quote. And I think it's important to have some level of wonder in your life of I'm exploring and I'm doing things. I actually think that the people that don't actively pursue helping others, in my eyes, are selfish. What are you focusing on? You wandering is actually more important than other people that might be suffering. You enjoying your experience in your bubble of life is more important than anything else. You're not here to live for yourself. You're here to live as a part of humanity. And if everything that you do just revolves around you and how you feel and what your stomach wants and what your brain wants, I just think that that's a bit of a pathetic existence. And it's not to look down on anyone that does that. I am guilty for doing that too. I just don't think that that's the way that I like living. And it's not the way that I would encourage someone that I care about to live like that. If I really care about someone and all they did was just listen to, my mind thinks this, or my stomach's saying this, or my body wants this. Bro, there's more to life than what you want on a surface level. And just get out of what the hell you want. Life is a lot bigger and more impressive than you. But a lot of people just have that ego where they just can't seem to get out their own head. Everything has to revolve around them. Everything has to lean back to who they are and what they want. And it's upsetting more than anything, because I know that people that think like that, they will be miserable for the rest of their life. They will feel terrible. And it's actually a trait of entrepreneurs to be very egotistical, because a lot of entrepreneurs that I know get into it for the money, so that they can show off, so that they can tell other people how much money that they have, and it's all about them. One of my favorite clients, actually, he is the complete opposite. And he's like, man, I would love to make enough money through his business. He told me he'd love to make so much money that he could start giving it away to other people so that they could start their own business and experience this life of building their own products and building businesses that they genuinely care about. And I just know, if you just compare someone like that to someone who's I want to get a Lamborghini. By the way, I want to get a Lamborghini, so no hate on that. But if you're comparing that to someone who's sole purpose and drive in business is I want to get a Lamborghini, I want to get a fast car, I want to post Instagram stuff, I want to show everyone that, everyone that doubted me, I want to prove you wrong. If your life is about answering back to the people that have hurt you, you're selfish. And you're, again, just thinking about yourself and what you want to show other people. Like, no one cares about how you were hurt. No one cares about the difficulty that you face. Man, get over it. Like, it's actually just not that important. How you feel and what you think and how your life is going. Get over it, man. Like, your life is much more important. Your life becomes much more important when you stop thinking about just you. And everyone else likes you more as well when your life becomes about them and other people rather than just you. So let's call that there. More personal, more deep, more vulnerable. But I'm looking forward to watching that back in 5 years' time. So we'll call it there, and I will speak to you later.